Yeah, I was just wondering what skills you guys tried to work on as undergrads, like from your courses or your experience, like in internships or research, that you tried to, you have applied into getting jobs and working at your jobs in energy-related fields.
So whoever wants to go for that one raises their hand first, and I'll call them. Go for it, Raju.
Yeah, so I touched on this very briefly, but once again, I think for me, as an engineer, so I studied mechanical engineering and materials science. That was the first skill, which I thought was the most critical and also kind of the foundation of being in the energy industry. It's not a requirement. There are definitely many other ways to get involved in the industry, but at the same time, I personally value being able to understand how the technology works and understand what some of the fundamental challenges are. So that was one thing that a lot of my activities in school, whether it be extracurricular or some of the research I did, was in that arena on the engineering side. And then as I mentioned, the other two aspects which I think have to complement the engineering is the policy side and the business side. And the policy side, that was, it began just as a function of me staying in touch and following the news with in regards to the energy industry, both in the U.S. and outside the U.S. And then it kind of, transformed into an internship. And then on the business side, that one was, I don't think I took any classes or did anything particular at the time to really develop that skill. But I think it was more something that I layered on top after kind of developing the engineering and the policy understanding. And that's something that, it's part of my job today is still to kind of understand that and learn about what's happening and what the companies are doing. So continue to learn that. But I think for me, the main theme has kind of been to try to pick up those three facets, the engineering, the policy, and the business side, and try to combine them to the extent that I can.
Henry?
I want to jump in here and be kind of brief with my answer, but what I would say to you guys is that no matter what course you take in school, no matter what immaculate pathway you have, it's not that likely that what you learn is what you're going to be doing on the day-to-day basis in your job, right? Unless you're, working in a lab or something like that, maybe. But for the most part, what I would say to you guys, with these, few years ahead of you to prepare, if that's what your question was driving at, what I would say is two things. One, get in a good pattern of behavior. Respond to emails, clean out your Gmail, don't let 400 emails sit there. It's a bad habit and it will carry over. Two would be get familiar with things. Take courses that you're not going to be a computer science major if that's not your thing, but get familiar with it. Take some chemistry, take engineering, take finance, take economics. Those two more so than the others. But have literacy in things that you can talk to people and learn, because there's value in that. You're going to be working with smart people who know more than you can ever learn in that book. And if you're able to talk to them, you can tap into that. And that kind of cycles back into this whole, congrats for being here thing, because when it comes down to it, the critical skill to gain as you leave college is the ability to talk to people, the ability to learn from these people, reach out to them, email them, or just casually be able to speak to things that are really important to some people and hopefully to you too. So that's it for me. That's all I got.
I agree. I want to second kind of learning the soft skills that you're not really taught as an engineer. I'm talking about specifically learning how to interact with people, how to talk to people, how to how to clearly communicate your ideas is something that is very valuable, both in getting a job and then once you're at your job. It's very valuable in helping you kind of stand out and move around within your company.
I love it.